beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup, I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Hey. So today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions, thoughts on the brand new Nomad Cosmetics Paradise Islands palette. The brand was kind enough to gift this to me, and I am beyond grateful, beyond just happy and excited, because I really do love Nomad Cosmetics as a brand. I feel like they release extremely high quality products, and just sort of the meaning behind the brand is really great. And to be quite honest, I've interacted with the brand owners and they have been really receptive to feedback. A couple of months back, when they released their America's Parks palette, I remember I reached out to the brand and was like, hey, do you guys have any swatches of this on deeper complexions? Like, as somebody that is on the medium deep side, for me swatches are everything. And I had seen a couple of people review the brand and I didn't see any deep swatches, and I was like, come on. The way I function is that regardless of if you are a mainstream brand or an indie brand, I think inclusivity is important. So I reached out to them about, not having swatches for deeper complexions, and they were very, very sweet and kind in their response. And I really appreciated the fact that they, took that feedback, and ever since then they've been really, really good about incorporating so many different complexions into their releases and making sure that they can show the diversity and the versatility of their palettes on deeper complexions. So really grateful that they sent this to me. Of course, this is going to be my raw opinions. To be quite honest, I had budgeted to pick up this palette anyway. I knew I was going to buy it. Once they started teasing it, and once I knew that it was going to be a tropical theme, I was like, I have to buy this. As a Caribbean woman, as a Trini, I knew that I was going to buy this because it was tropical themed, and the island girl in me knew in my spirit that this needed to be my collection. So they released their Paradise Islands palette on Instagram and they debuted the color story. This is what the palette looks like on the outside. You'll see it has this really beautiful tropical imaging. It's really bright and colorful. On the back of the palette, you do get the product details, including the fact that this has a 12-month shelf life. It's cruelty-free and vegan, and it is made in China. The box that the palette comes in has the exact same imagery. The only difference is that on the back of the box, you will see the shades within the palette, as well as some information about the inspiration of the palette and what you're gonna get. So basically, this is gonna be an 18-pan eyeshadow palette. You're gonna get 10 shimmers and 8 mattes. And this is inspired by, it's inspired by Paradise Islands in the Pacific Ocean. So let's open this baby up so you guys can see her in all its glory. So here we have the Paradise Islands palette from Nomad Cosmetics. You'll see that it has this stunning embossing in there, which Nomad typically does with all of their palettes, and which I think adds a really, really nice, beautiful touch. I'll read the little, blurb at the back here. It says, surrounded by the vast Pacific Ocean are hundreds of paradise islands like the heavenly Bora Bora and Tahiti that make up a diverse and vibrant tropical ecosystem. Ambrosial and elemental, they hold our collective imagination as to what paradise on earth feels, looks, and smells like. Blessed by fertile rainforests, idyllic beaches, and an underwater world full of life, you sense a belongingness to nature. Spend some time here and you begin to feel connected to the earth and all the breathtaking beauty of the lands, the animals, and the people of these magnificent islands. So in addition to the palette, you will get a postcard, as they typically do with all of their releases. And on the postcard, I love that they always include a really nice handwritten note, even if you purchase it. And then it tells you a little bit about the palette again itself, as well as the cause. Another great thing about Nomad Cosmetics is that every palette that they release, they donate a portion of the proceeds to a specific cause. It says that with this palette, they will be supporting 2 organizations that protect the Pacific's vibrant ecosystem. Timana or Timoana and Coral Gardeners Adopt a Coral. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. Our coral reefs are dying and we need to do better. So last thing I want to say about this palette is that it will retail for $44. The palette will launch on the Nomad website on Tuesday, April 5th. And there are a number of creators out there who have codes that will give you 10% off. So you do not have to buy this at full price. Do not buy this at full price. Please support the creators. I don't think they make any commission off of it, but you are able to use their code and get some money off. So like I typically do with all of my first impressions videos, I'm going to give you guys some live swatches, and then we're going to dive into this very quick eye look, and I'll come back and round things up and give you guys my final first impressions thoughts. This is a first impressions video, so I will be coming back and giving you guys a couple more looks on this palette. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you follow me on Instagram, because I'll also post looks there, because I do plan to use this throughout the week. Okay, so we're just gonna go row by row with these swatches. So here we have the first 4 shades: Bora Bora, Sun, Sky, Moon. Here we have the next 4 shades: Mana, Morea, Fish, Tiki. Here we have the next 4 shades. Oh, these are so beautiful. Turtle, Lizard, Shark, Stingray. Here we have the next 4 shades: Wahine, Ocean, Dolphin, Whale. I just added a second layer to that so you can see it more clearly. Lastly, Seashell and Tahiti. So here we have swatches of the full Nomad Cosmetics Paradise Islands palette. This is so beautiful. You can already see that some of these shades are definitely lighter, and honestly, when I saw this palette, I really thought that these looked like pastel shades for my complexion. Maybe not pastels for someone that's a little bit lighter than me, but it definitely felt like I could get some really nice pastel looks, especially in this sort of first category here, and even some of the shades here. I'm so excited. All right, let's dump into the eye look, and then I will come back and give you guys my final thoughts. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna go into the shade Seashell. It's a really, really light sort of purple lilac shade, and I'm gonna use that as my transition color. That is showing up quite nicely and blending like a dream. Definitely has a little bit of kick up in the pan, but nothing to write home about. And this is leaning a little bit purple gray, but I don't mind that. Quickly cleaning off my brush. Next, I'm gonna go into the baby blue shade Dolphin, and I'm gonna use that as a second transition shade in the first half of the eye. Yeah, this is definitely giving me pastel vibes. Like pastel, but make it black people friendly. I said what I said. Pigmentation is insane. Wow. Next, I'm gonna go in with the deep blue shade. This is Wahine. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I am doing my best. Ooh, that is stunning. I'm gonna start by stomping that into the outer part of the eye, and then blending it into that first purple shade. Kissing on your neck till the lipstick's gone. Now, I do expect this color to change a little bit as I blend it. Somehow, for some reason, blue eyeshadow tends to change colors just in the slightest once I start blending it. I had that issue with the Whistler palette, which actually turned into this color that deep blue in Whistler became really, really teal as I blended it out. This one seems to be staying in that true teal color family though, which is quite nice. Okay, I'm loving the way this is looking. Next, we're gonna have some fun. I'm actually gonna lay down 3 shimmers today because why not? Let's go crazy. So I'm gonna start with this shimmer here. It's the shade Ocean. It's a blue purple shimmer, and I'm gonna start by putting that into the outer part and blending it into the Huahin deep blue shade. So I'm picking that up on a BH10 brush. It's a basic Morphe flat brush. I don't like the way that's picking up, so I'm just gonna go in with my finger and start by stamping that where I want it. Once I love you pull me in and cut me loose. Next, I'm gonna go into the shade Shock. That's a really stunning blue shimmer. So this is Ocean, this is Shock. And I'm gonna put that into the center of the lid, blending it into the first shimmer. I could be your girl, you could be my playmate, you could be my toy. Again, just using my finger. And then lastly, I'm gonna go into the pink shade Morea. And it's a little bit less chunky as a shimmer, so I'm just gonna pick it up with a brush instead of my finger because I want to put that into the inner third of the eye and I want to get as precise as I can. Joke's on me. I'm gonna have to go in with my finger to get the color payout that I want. So just picking that up. And then I'm just stamping that into the inner part of the eye right here. That's pretty. I will go back in with a brush and clean it up. I just want to make sure I get that stamped right where I want it. And I will do you wrong. I could be your girl, you could be my playmate, you could be my toy, and I throw you away. I can do you right, even in the wrong way. I could do you right. Okay, this is what the eyes are looking like right now. I feel like such a butterfly. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so let me not start rambling. Just really quickly, I'm gonna go back in with the shade Seashell. That was that first sort of purple shade, and I'm gonna use that, I'm gonna add some of that pigment back into the crease because I feel like we've covered it up a little bit, and I really, really want that sort of pink purple to pop with the blue. So I'm gonna go back in with that shade. Then, as I typically do, you know eyeshadow is all about blending. I'm just gonna make sure everything is blended together so we have no harsh lines, no harsh creasing. I'll finish up the rest of my face and I'll come back and give you guys, you know, my first impressions, thoughts. All of me once I love you. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right here for a minute. I really like how this is looking so far. I'm gonna finish up the rest of the face, and then I'll come back and give you guys, you know, my first impressions, thoughts on this palette. Where are you? You tell me lies when I'm all true. I could be your girl, you could be my playmate, you could be my toy, and I throw you away. I can do you right, even in the wrong way. I could do you right. I could be your boy, you could be my son. Okay guys, I am back and this is the final look. Okay. you guys already know, Nomad is one of those brands that just excites me. I'm always excited about Nomad releases because I feel like they have just jumped on the scene and completely blown everyone away. Their color stories are super interesting, the meaning behind the brands and the sort of thought and care that they put into researching the sites and making sure that the palettes that they create represent the areas that they're talking about and the countries that they visit and whatnot. It's just, I can't say enough how much I appreciate that. I love makeup, but in true form, my love language is travel. I absolutely love traveling. So to have a makeup brand based around travel, which is my absolute favorite thing to do, it's just like everything that I could ever possibly want. That being said, let's talk about the eyeshadows. So first and foremost, packaging, 10 out of 10. I think that this is absolutely stunning. I think that it is so beautiful. It just makes me feel really happy. Like all of the colors are vibrant, it pops, it's just absolute perfection. Now let's talk about the actual shadows itself. Obviously for this look, I did not use every single one of these shadows, but the ones that I did use, I was actually quite impressed with. I will say that the shadows definitely have a more powdery texture than a creamy texture, which I don't mind, because if you are new to eyeshadow, having a more powdery texture means that you can easily blend things out. It means that you can build things up. Sometimes when something is too creamy, it's a little bit harder to blend and it's just a little bit harder to work with. So I think that this makes it really nice for a beginner or someone that's kind of like in that medium intermediate level of using makeup. And I consider myself kind of like intermediate. I ain't no professional, so I think that this is really easy to work with. I was really blown away by how very quickly the mattes that I used in this blended. I feel like it was in no time at all. It was just like wham bam, done. And the pigmentation, stunning. And you saw in my makeup application, and I'm gonna say this again, and this is a bold statement and I'm saying it with my whole chest. This, to me, is pastels for deeper complexions. If you looked at Natasha Denonna's pastel palette and was like, what in the ash? And you wanted something that could give you that pastel vibe, I feel like this is it here. It looks a little bit dusty, it looks like it's ashy, but honestly, the pigmentation, it shows up on me and it shows up really well. This is definitely more of a bold look, so it's a little bit bolder than if you wanted something that's softer and more pastel. But as I was applying the mattes that I used, I felt like, I could do a soft pastel look with this and it's not gonna look ashy. And that's my big thing when it comes to pastel or lighter shades. I needed to like have a nice level of pigmentation without looking ashy. Obviously, if you want better color payout or more true payout, I would say go in with a white base or go in with like a lighter concealer so that it can pop a little bit more. I prefer to have my concealer be like pretty much skin tone, so I feel like I won't get the biggest payoff, but I don't mind that at all. That's just my preference. So this is our first impressions, so I will be coming back giving you guys more thoughts. If you want to see me use this palette more, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I tend to, post more looks there more frequently because I don't film all of my looks. So I'll be using this all week. I'll definitely be posting looks on Instagram, and I will come back and do 2 or 3 more looks with this palette so you can decide if this is something that you really want. This is a colorful palette. If you are a neutral lover, if you don't like colorful eyeshadow, you may not want this, and that's completely fine, because the truth is you're not really going to get a neutral look with this, aside from maybe like a greenish look, which can lean, and that's barely calling it neutral. Like the green is probably as neutral as you could get in this. Other than that, you are going to get a colorful look. So if you know you don't like colorful eyeshadow, this is definitely not the palette for you. And Nomad has a ton of other palettes in their line if you wanted something that leaned a little bit more neutral. Overall, in my first impressions opinions, I'm quite impressed with this palette. I think the quality is true Nomad, fabulous quality, and I think that the color story really does speak for like a nice spring summertime look. And I can't even say this enough, really do appreciate that even though these shades are a little bit lighter, that they work on my complexion. Hallelujah. Okay, if you guys like this first impressions video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any videos from me. I have so much products that I need to try for you guys that it is insane. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so you'll know every time I upload a video. You already know I don't have an upload schedule, so when it comes, and the bell will let you know when it comes. If you haven't done so, go ahead and share with a friend if you think they like the content. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so very, very much for watching. Go ahead and pick this up if this is of interest to you. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.